Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. GOP dysfunction and chaos continue as we are going into our third week without a Speaker of the House of the U.S. House of Representatives. And we're going to have a CR come up in about 26 days, a continuing resolution to fund the government, and we have no speaker to bring that in. And what's with Tom Cole coming out and saying the quiet parts out loud about Republican plans for Social Security and Medicare? So here we are. We have a U.S. House of Representatives that can't do anything at all because they don't have a Speaker of the House. And this has just been a big mess of chaos, confusion, and outright dysfunction when it comes to GOP politics and Republican governance. This is the great example of their governance right here. And it's also a great lesson in strategic moronics. See, because Matt Gaetz got miffed that McCarthy worked with Democrats to get a CR, a continuing resolution to fund the government through. And they did temporarily, like a 45-day deal. Well, now it's going to be 26 days till that comes due, and we have no Speaker of the House 3 weeks later, which is kind of the point here of the strategic moronics. Matt Gaetz had no plan, no idea or anything else other than the short-sightedness of making McCarthy pay. And now he looks like an idiot for doing what he did, because now the government can't do anything. Or maybe it's his plan. I mean, he's not a real big American kind of guy. He's not for the United States of America. He's all about ditching our Constitution. He's all about helping our foreign adversaries. So maybe this is just, hey, I can do this. I can make us weak, because that's what it's about. Making the United States weak. You know, whenever anybody is touting the line, make government so small you can drown it in a bathtub. Well, who exactly do they want to drown that in a bathtub? Iran? Russia? Is it North Korea? Because that's what can happen, right? Those are states way more powerful than just people who don't have or hang on to power. So really, that's talking about allowing our adversaries to kill off our country because we've made it so weak it can't do anything. And right now, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that right now in the United States House of Representatives, because they have no Speaker of the House. Republicans can't coalesce against 1, 2, or 3 people to do it. And then we had the interim speaker say, hey, if you try to do something unconstitutional, like give me a bunch of powers to move bills through when we don't have that, I'm going to step down. And then, what do you know, Jim Jordan gets in there, who no one likes. The guy's an insurrectionist. He fomented the insurrection. He tried to get the electors, the faux electors, through. The guy is a traitor. No one likes him on the left, and neither do moderate Republicans who want to keep their seats in purple districts. They don't like him either. So here you go. First we had Scalise come out. And then all the hardliners came out against him. He said, this is a circus. I don't need it. I got blood cancer. So he dropped out. Then Jim Jordan comes in, and then their conference, he first starts out 20 votes short to get the outright speakership. 20 votes short from their own conference. From their own conference, in a private conference with just GOP, not the House, not the full House. Can't get the votes from his Republican colleagues. So then they put out a pressure campaign, and some of it, people turn to making violent threats. So then he actually loses 4 people, but he gained 2 others. So it's a net loss of 2. So now in the second vote, he's down 22 votes. Well, then they come out with a vote on Friday, and guess what? Now he's down 25 votes. So they had another conference, secret ballot, and the Republicans said, we don't want Jim Jordan to be our nominee. So here we are, stuck in. We don't know what's going to happen till Monday. We have no one. We don't even know who's going to run. People have to declare their candidacy this weekend, everything else for the speakership. We don't even have a clue who's going to run for it, or if they can even make it, what kind of coalition they can have. And this is the effects of what we have from Matt Gaetz and the strategic moron that he is. Because that's what we have. Now, this is really interesting because it really brings out a lot of things in these Republicans that we've known for a long time. It makes them make mistakes. So we have a really big mistake that came out just last week with a Representative Tom Cole, who had been charged with maybe running for the speakership, and he came out in support of Jim Jordan. Yeah, you know, Representative Tom Cole, he likes traitors, I think. That's kind of the kind of guy he is. He's just a real big party hack. I'm going to be GOP all the way, that Constitution be damned kind of thing. So he was stumping for Jim Jordan and said, he's our guy. Because if you want to see Medicaid and Social Security get cut, he's the guy you want to vote for. That's exactly what this doofus said. He actually said the quiet parts, or actually the parts that they've been trying to be deceptive about, out loud and honest. They want to cut Social Security and Medicare. Now the funny thing about this is Social Security, it doesn't add to the deficit. So doing anything with Social Security isn't going to do anything to the massive deficit we have that they're all worried about. It's got its own deal. It's got its own flow. It doesn't have anything to do with the budget or the deficit or the debt or anything. It really doesn't. It does not. So bringing that up is kind of telling in a lot of things. Like, you know, they really just don't care about the truth. They just care about their planks. They care about their ideals. And if the Constitution gets in the way, well, then the Constitution's wrong. And that's how people like U.S. Representative Tom Cole feel about things. Pretty much the same way a lot of representatives in Oklahoma feel about things. James Lankford, for instance, there's another traitor. The guy got up there on January 6th and talked about how we need to let these faux electors in and screw these tens of millions of people who voted. We want to disenfranchise them, send these votes back so we can get these other electors in here. Of course, when the violence happened, he was, okay, this is a step too far for me. I was all willing to do a soft coup, because he even said so in the email he put out on January 7th. He was willing to do a soft coup for Trump. And here we have Tom Cole saying this stuff out loud. Hey, we're going to get rid of Social Security and Medicare. Now, I agree. Saying you're going to get rid of Social Security and Medicare is not as bad as coming out and saying, hey, my friends told me to be a traitor to the United States Constitution, which is exactly what Jim Lankford did in the email confession that he sent out January 7th. And I put it up here. I put it up everywhere. You can go see it. You can even Google it and read the whole thing yourself. It's kind of a confessional is what I see it as. So we have people like that representing us here in Oklahoma. So that's kind of where we're at with things. The chaos, the dysfunction. Can't get a Speaker of the House. Can't even figure out who's going to be Speaker because of the strategic moronics of the very hardline right-wing outliers who got rid of their own Speaker. And so here we go again. There's a representative named Austin Scott. Austin Scott's also a name. They talked about being Speaker. Well, he went on, I believe it was CNN or MSNBC, I can't remember, and started saying how this was all the Democrats' fault. The Democrats voted to get rid of McCarthy. They didn't vote for him. It's all their fault. And it was kind of a weird deal because I was like, you know, this is like Stadisha, just not all that brave at taking it. You see, because one, in the last several decades, when it comes to the speakership, no Republican has ever voted for a Democrat. Never. Ever. And why would Democrats want to vote for McCarthy? He's done nothing for them. He's done nothing for them. He's gone at them. He's tried to kick them off of committees. He's tried to censure them. He's tried to... He's backed people with their violent threats against them. He's trying to impeach the President of the United States. He hasn't reached out to any of them. Didn't reach out to any of them. No set of preconditions or anything to keep a speakership. So why would Democrats want to vote for him? Well, this guy, Austin, he totally thinks Democrats should have voted for him. And it's just a big cry fest from this guy. They didn't vote for him. Yeah, you're right. Because he had nothing to offer them. He didn't even attempt to offer Democrats anything, so why should they vote for him? Why would they vote for McCarthy when Jeffries is right there able to be voted for, and they know him, he knows his other Democratic colleagues and what they want. He was talking to them. McCarthy didn't talk to these other Democrats. I'm sure Jeffries did, and he does all the time. So why would these Democrats want to vote for McCarthy? That's one of the most arrogant, cowardly things I've ever heard from anyone. He didn't vote for our guy. Of course he didn't. He's got nothing to offer, didn't try to offer. There's no preconditions or anything. It's not like, hey man, I've been talking to these guys to get votes. Didn't happen. So he wants to blame it on Democrats, tuck tail and retreat. Doesn't want to take responsibility for the radicals in his party blowing this all up, being chaos agents, causing all the dysfunction, being strategic morons as they go along about this, because there's no plan. See, there's the strategic moronics. They didn't have a plan. No plan on replacing the speaker. They just got rid of it. No plan. Just, you get rid of it. That's it. That's the short-sightedness of all of this. And this is GOP governance in a nutshell. It really is. This is how they do things. Go to Stephanie Bice's page and look at it on her Twitter feed or her Facebook. Check it out. See all of the little things she puts on there that's just outside the norm of what you would expect from someone that represents a body of people. It's just crazy dysfunction. It's crazy chaos. And it's just this clown show, pay attention to me type stuff, put me on cable TV, let me talk. And that's where we're at in all of this. So we have all this major dysfunction from Republicans who control the House of Representatives, and this just tells you where they're at. I'm almost positive we're not going to have a speaker anytime shortly. Here's what's going to happen. They're not going to have anybody. The Republicans aren't going to find anyone that can get all the votes, because they can only miss 4 votes. That's it. 4 without getting any Democratic support. Most Republicans in the House, even the softliners, say they don't want the Democrat support if they can get away with it. Of course they don't. That way they don't have to deal with them, right? They just ram anything they went through. Don't have to deal with them. So there you go. And then they wonder why they won't vote for them when they come up for the speakership. Yeah, no one ever has. Why should they? You give them no incentive to. So this Austin Scott guy, he just needs to grow a pair and realize things. I can't believe he even said that. They didn't vote for him. Of course not, you illogical idiot. Why would they? It's your people that put in the resolution to get rid of their own speaker. It's you guys who couldn't unify and figure out how to keep him. It was Republicans who still can't seem to find someone after 3-4 picks that can get all the votes, and they're not going to. They're going to have to work with Democrats. They got such a thin margin that they can't go it alone. They're not going to be able to. I'm sorry, all the conditions, if you look at them, are not there for them to do it. And here we are. 26 days until the next CR comes due, with dysfunction and chaos in the House of Representatives, while Hamas and Israel go at each other, while Russia invades Ukraine. So here we are, looking weak because of Republican dysfunction and chaos. 26 days, fund the government. No speaker. This is Across the Desk, and we will see you next week.